today I'll be showing you our mini math lesson. To begin, we're going to solve number 1, and it states arrange the set of numbers from smallest to largest. As you can see, we're given the numbers 4/3, 3/4, 1.3, 7/6, and 0.67. Now we have two options. We can either change all of the numbers into fractions or change all of the numbers into decimals. For myself, I will begin by changing every number into decimals. So 4/3 turns into 1.333. This number repeats, so you put a little line above it to indicate that. 3/4 turns into 0.75. 1.3 is already a decimal, and 7/6 turns into 1.6667. So now that all of these numbers are decimals, we can now begin arranging them from smallest to largest. So to do that, we are going to look at each thing. So I know that this is the smallest number for 1 because it begins with 0. And in comparing 0.67 to 0.75, we can figure that out. So the first number is 0.67. The second smallest number is, we see 0.75, but we look back up here, and we see that that was originally 3/4. Our next smallest number would belong to 1.6667, and we see that that belongs to 7/6, and our second to largest number would be 4/3, and our biggest number would be 1.3. So that's how you solve the first question. For our second question, we are instructed to write the number 5 squared, 5/4, and 7/3. To do this properly, we are going to write out the number in its full form. So for 5 squared, we do 5 times 5, and that equals 25. For 5/4, we write out 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And it's really easy to become confused by this exponent. Sometimes we get confused and we add 5 plus 2, but it's important to realize that this means we multiply. So that's where I get these 4 5s from. So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 is equal to 625. And it's the same for this number, 7 to the 3rd power. So because of this 3rd power, we know that it's 3 7. So 7 times 7 times 7. And 7 times 7 times 7 equals 343. That's how we do that one. However, now we have to circle the prime numbers. So before we begin with that, I want to first explain what a prime number is. So a prime number is something that you can only have factors of the number itself in the number 1. So here we know that 2 is a prime number because it's 2 times 1, and that's the only way you can get 2. 3 is a prime number because you can multiply 3 times 1. 4 is not a prime number because you can multiply 2 times 2 to get 4, and 4 times 1. 5 is a prime number because you can multiply 5 times 1. 6 is not a prime number because you can multiply 3 times 2, 2 times 3, and 6 times 1 in order to get 6. 7 is a prime number because no matter what you multiply, you can only get 7 times 1 to equal 7. 8 is not a prime number because you can multiply 4 times 2, 2 times 4, and 8 times 1. 9 is not a prime number because you can multiply 3 times 3 and 9 times 1 in order to get 9. 10 is not a prime number because you can multiply 5 times 2, 2 times 5, and 10 times 1 in order to get 10. However, 11 is a prime number because you can only multiply by 11 times 1 to get 11. 12 is not a prime number because you can multiply 6 times 2, 2 times 6, and 12 times 1 to get 12. 13 is a prime number because you can only multiply 13 times 1 to get 13. 14 is not a prime number because you can multiply 7 times 2, 2 times 7, and 14 times 1 in order to get 14. 15 is not a prime number because you can multiply 3 times 5 and 15 times 1 in order to get 15. 16 is not a prime number because you can multiply 2 times 8, 8 times 2, and 16 times 1 to get 16. 17 is a prime number because you can multiply 17 times 1 to get 17. 18 is not a prime number because you can multiply 9 times 2 and 18 times 1 in order to get 18. 19 is a prime number because we can multiply 19 times 1 and only 19 times 1 in order to get 19. 20 is not a prime number because you can multiply 20 times 1 and 10 times 2 in order to get 20. 21, you can see here, is not a prime number because you can multiply 7 times 3, 3 times 7, and 21 times 1 in order to get 21. 22 is not a prime number because you can multiply 11 times 2 and 22 times 1 in order to get 22. 23 is a prime number because you only can multiply 23 times 1 to get 23. 24 is not a prime number because you can multiply 6 times 6 and 24 times 1 to get 24. 25 is not a prime number because you can multiply 5 times 5 and 25 times 1 to get 25. 26 is not a prime number because you can multiply 26 times 1 and 2 times 13 to get 26. 27 is not a prime number because you can multiply 9 times 3 and 27 times 1 in order to get 27. And lastly, 28 is not a prime number because you can multiply 7 times 4 and 28 times 1 in order to get 28. So, just so we all are clear, the prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and 23. So this next question is asking what the greatest common factor of each set of numbers are. So in order to find our first pair of 28 and 36, we are going to first write 28 and put a colon. So now we can say 1, 2, 4, 7, 14, and 21. When you multiply, they equal 28. And for 36, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18, and 36. In order to find the greatest common factor, we circle the ones that are the same. So 1 is the same, 2 is the same, and 4 is the same. With these three factors, we now can confirm that our greatest common factor is 4. For 9 and 15, we would do the same. So it would be 1, 3, and 9. For 15, it would be 1, 3, 5, and 15. Again, we would circle the same, and we can conclude that our greatest common factor is 3. Our next pair is 10 and 20. In order to confirm our greatest common factor, we do the exact same thing, nothing's changing. So it would be 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now when we do the same with 20, we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. We circle the same, 5, and 10. So again, after looking at these, we can confirm that our GCF is 10. Now last, we have the pairs 5 and 7. So we do the exact same thing. So we get 1 and 5, and with 7, it's 1 and 7. So our greatest common factor here is 1. For this next question, we are instructed to write a multiplication number that has an answer of 642. So the way that I used to do this when I was in school that made it easier for me was that I would first look at the number and determine what number it is divisible by, which basically means what number we can multiply or divide into to get an answer. So if we first look at the lowest number, which is 2, we see that 2 can go into 6, 4, and 2. But when looking for divisible numbers, you mostly want to look at the last number, and that is 2. So that we know that we can divide it by 2 because it's an even number. So we would first do 642 divided by 2. So we would do this like a long division problem. So I can see that 3 times 2 is 6. You bring the 4 down. And I know that 2 times 2 equals 4. You get 0. And you still bring this number down. And 2 into 2 is 1. So I know that when I multiply 321 times 2, I get 642, which is the number that we start with. Lastly, we have to create a figure and explain how to find the area and perimeter. So as you can see, I drew a square, and each side is 2 inches long. So in order to find the perimeter, we can go ahead and add each side. So that would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So we can see that 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. So we get 8 inches. Now to find the area, it's a little different. We would multiply 2 sides. So if I wanted this side and this side, I would say 2 times 2, and we get 4 inches. So that is how you find the area and perimeter. I hope that you all were able to learn a lot and understand the ways that I explain these problems. But yeah, that was my mini math lesson. Thank you.